My name is Pooja Naikar, and I'll be discussing with you a topic that I'm very much so interested in, as well as a topic that I've done a lot of research on, and that is why tap water is better for you than bottled water. Now I have 4 sources as to why tap water is better for you. The first starting with cost, the second being health, the third being misleading, and the fourth being regulations and standards. Now by the end of this, I will prove why all these 4 factors will perhaps change your mind as it did to mine as to why tap water is better for you than bottled water. Starting with cost. On average, families usually spend around $50 on their water bill every 3 months. Now that's not only for drinking, but for showering as well as even gardening. That's about $50 every 3 months. Now the average individual usually drinks this 500 milliliters of water. I know this because I used to do this all the time too. I used to go through about 4 of these a day because the daily recommended amount is 8 cups. So 4 of these a day, and at your average grocery store you're looking at about 66 cents per water bottle. So 4 times 66 cents times 3 months, you're looking at about $245.52. That's outrageous. Why would you spend $245.52, nearly 4 times the amount than you would spend on your regular water bill? And keep in mind, you're already spending this $50 every 3 months. So this would be an add-on to that amount. The next reason why tap water is better for you than regular old bottled water is because health. Now health is a huge reason why, and it really did open up my eyes. Health is a reason because there's 2 major chemicals in the plastic in bottled water. The first being bisphenol A. Now bisphenol A is a harmful chemical that typically affects women because it affects the estrogen in women. This is because it has harmful results to reproduction. So if a woman was to have a baby, they could have problems with the development of the baby, and that's a huge factor as I'm a woman. The next is PET. Now PET is also a very harmful chemical, just as bisphenol, because PET is related to certain issues such as prostate cancer in men and breast cancer in women. Now sure, you may think the bottle is convenient, it's unbreakable, it's easy to use, easy to carry around. As a student, I find it very useful. But when I think of the health factors related to this water bottle, it makes me turn to tap water. The next factor is the misleading factor. Now, many people are bought into the fanciness of the advertisements that you see on TV for water bottle, as well as the different shapes and sizes that the water bottles come in, as well as their colorful labels. Now a lot of people are bought into that aspect, which is why they purchase the bottled water as opposed to drinking your regular tap water. And finally, the last is regulations and standards. Now both bottled water and tap water have to follow similar standards conducted by EPA. And now what EPA is Environmental Protection Agency. Now what they do is that they're designated to measure the purity of water, all types of water, tap water and even bottled water. And the way they measure it is by using TDS. Now TDS is the total dissolved solids within the water. The lesser the amount of total dissolved solids, the better it is for you. Another organization that also measures it is FDA. Now FDA usually measures this TDS for the bottled water industry. So they're in charge to make sure that the TDS in bottled water is low. But is it really lower than tap water TDS? Absolutely not, because tap water is purified water as is bottled water. And I can prove this because Aquafina, a huge water brand, bottled water brand, and what they do actually on their bottles itself, on the label at the back, you would see PWS. And now what PWS stands for is Public Water Source, which basically Aquafina is telling all of their consumers that their water is brought right from the water system, because all water systems are the public water source, which is the same type of water you get in tap water. So essentially, in bottled water, you are paying for tap water. And doesn't that sound ridiculous? Now, a huge misconception is the cloudiness found in tap water. Now, this leads people to believe that tap water is impure and that it's not drinkable. Well, that's a huge misconception, because what those water bubbles are actually caused by the decompressed gas in the water solution. Now, those bubbles will eventually go away, and you'll see more cloudiness with hot water as opposed to cold water. This at all does not mean it's impure. It just means that there's some bubbles in your water. Now, I hope that I proved that with cost, health, misleading, and regulations, that all these factors lead to believe that tap water is essentially more cost-effective and more beneficial for you. It's saving your lives because you're not exposed to the harmful chemicals found in plastic. It's more cost-effective because this is just ridiculous, spending $245 every 3 months as opposed to the $50 you already spend on your water bill. It's measured by the same regulations and standards that bottled water is measured by, and you're not suckered into the fancy advertisements of bottled water, the different shapes, the different sizes of the bottled water. Thank you for listening to my presentation on why tap water is better for you than bottled water. Cheers!
In the introduction, that's when we